Hi friends, welcome. Can you hear the cicadas? It's a beautiful summer evening. So today's review is the Good and the Beautiful Bird Unit. Come explore the unit with me. Unit information. The child needs a science journal, a science wall. There is some preparation on the part of the instructor, you, right? Lesson mini books are included. You cut those out yourself and assemble them. Not hard to do at all. And there are a few activities, some science experiments, there are unit videos, and there is also specialized content for older children and specialized content for younger children. Younger children are considered K to 4 in this instance, and older children are considered 5 to 8th grade. Let me show you the science wall that we have created for our bird unit. I love these little doodads, they're perfect for projects. So over here we have our vocabulary words. Usually each lesson has 1 to 2 vocabulary words, and then I just cut them out and use a glue stick to put them on this board. This unit, if you order the unit from the Good and the Beautiful and have it shipped to you, the photos are just eye-catching, stunning. We have chickens, hummingbirds, ostriches, and there are many more throughout the unit. Let me show you the unit more in depth. There are 14 lessons in this unit. It's suggested that you do 2 lessons a week, 2 to 3 lessons per week, but of course that can be tailored to you considering your personal environment. Lesson 1 is Introduction to Birds. You cut out the characteristics of birds cards. For each child, print 1 copy of the Birds of the World map page. Cut out the labels from the classification of birds page, and activity supplies a glue stick. You start off by watching the Amazing World of Birds video. And bird characteristics, you spread the prepared characteristics of birds cards in front of the children. Then you read to the children a bit of information. Birds of the World activity. And then you go into the birds of Argentina, birds of Finland, Papua New Guinea, birds of India, birds of the United States, birds of South Africa, Mongolia, birds of Romania, birds of Antarctica, birds of Canada. Picture of emperor penguins. And then the 3rd page of this particular lesson, bird classification. Show the children the classification of birds page with cutout labels, and then you read to the children a bit more. Have the children glue the correct label underlined below onto each classification level as you read, and then there is an answer key at the end of the lesson. Vocab words for lesson 1, plumage and avis. And on the science wall, it directs you to place these vocabulary words. Oh, little house sparrow, how adorable. Hope you can see it. Here's the extension portion. If you have children in 7th or 8th grade, they would be discussing bird plumage a bit more in lesson 1. Spotted plumage, mottled plumage, scaled, barred plumage. Lesson 2, bird watching. And this follows sort of that same formula as lesson 1, they all do. Preparation, go to the birds link at goodandthebeautiful.com/science and print a copy of the free bird watching notebook PDF for each child. Print as many copies of the last page in the PDF as needed. 1 page will be used for each bird the child observes. 2nd portion, locate a birdwatching book, app, and or website for your area. Activity supplies, clipboard or 3-wing binder for each child's birdwatching notebook, binoculars. What you're doing is you are setting up a birdwatching notebook that your child can then use throughout the unit. How to be a bird watcher explains that initially. Start a bird watching notebook. It gives you prompts as to how you might do that. Bird identification skills. Show the children the page titled Tips for Bird Identification at the end of the lesson. And then you read to the children about habitat, size and shape, color and pattern, behavior, Make a bird feeder optional activity. You can do it if you'd like, but you don't have to. I think those sorts of things are fun. It's just the old standard pine cone with peanut butter and birdseed. Also prompts you to show the children these images and have them guess which bird shadow belongs to which bird. Third page of lesson 2, plastic bottle bird feeder, another bird feeder prompt. Bird observation activity. Note, you may use your bird watching notebook, or you may choose to simply go in nature and observe birds. Up to you and your children. And it asks you to consider these questions when bird watching. What type of bill does the bird have? What color is the bird? What types of markings are on its feathers? Does it have any unique features like a head crest? Does it have a long neck or a short neck? Is it large or small? Is the bird plump or long and narrow? What shape is its head? How long are its legs? What other questions can you come up with? Here's the answer key for those shadows that I just showed you on the other page. There's always an answer key. And then also, like every lesson, there is that extension for 7th and 8th grade. How and why do birds sing? But like I said, I kind of always just read this to my children because I don't personally feel like this information needs to just be catered to the older crowd. Younger children can certainly assimilate and garner something from this. That's my personal opinion. But if you feel that your children would be overwhelmed or just, it's too much, feel free to step back. Let me show you lesson 3. Parts of a bird. Has that same preparation section here. What you'll need to cut out, activity supplies. You have an optional read aloud at the beginning, specialized bills activity. And the items for that activity would be dried beans or rice, peanuts or sunflower seeds in the shell, gummy worms, cooked spaghetti, etc., water and large marshmallows, and then it tells you what these household items represent. They represent, in no particular order, insects, nuts and seeds, worms or other underground invertebrates, nectar, and meat. So your child would try to grasp these items and associate what bill a bird might need to grasp these items. It also prompts the child to use tweezers, pliers, tongs, a straw, scissors to grasp these items. And there are specific instructions for that. I'm just giving you the general gist. Page 2 of lesson 3. This lesson's vocabulary words. Syrinx, crop, proventriculus, gizzard. And then you do parts of a bird worksheet preparation. External parts of a bird video that can be found on The Good and the Beautiful, or even YouTube. You can look it up on YouTube and also gain access to these videos. I should tell you that. Internal parts of a bird activity. And then you read to the child a little prompt, and then it talks about the bird's brain. Birds have large, well-developed brains. Their brains are 6 to 10 times as large as like-sized reptiles. Birds are very intelligent and can learn new things. Yes, indeed, birds are very intelligent. And then it gives you the definition, a little bit about the syrinx, and then ears, heart, crop, proventriculus, and the gizzard, the bones. A lot of birds have hollow bones to help them fly better, except for I don't believe that's the case with a lot of water birds like ducks, because they don't necessarily need those hollow bones. Or at least they're airy bones, not hollow, airy. Science journal, it gives you a prompt to have your child write in a science journal. Parts of a bird, this is what we did. You label the parts of a chicken, its beak, bill, eyes, feathers, wings, legs, feet, bones. It talks about the gizzard, proventriculus, heart, spleen, liver, crop, lung, syrinx, esophagus, spinal cord, trachea. Super fun. On to lesson 4. You know me, I'll be thorough in my presentation of this, right? Oh, lesson 4 was fun. We did make one of those books that I already referred to. How does a bird fly? So what I did, I just cut out the pages myself, and in this case, I stapled them. You can bind them in other ways if you prefer. How does a bird fly? And I'll show you a bit of this book for lesson 4. Starts out with a beautiful image of likely migrating birds. The side of the story flock of birds is fascinating to behold. As they glide through the air and dive in turn, their dance appears effortless and graceful. Humans have long been fascinated by the wonders of flight. Flying is the primary form of locomotion for most birds. Birds use flight to travel and avoid predators, but that's not all. They can eat meat, mate, hunt, and even sleep while flying. How are birds able to fly? This book delves into how birds are able to fly, the logistics of that. So, super fun, super useful book. Lesson 4 explores flight, as I've already alluded to. So you assemble the mini book that I just showed you, and you need one sheet of paper cut in half for each child. Flap like a bird activity, the mechanics of bird flight. You go over the mini book, airflow over a wing activity. The child just blows on paper and observes the flow of air over the paper. There's a bit of paper airplane making in this lesson. Taking off and landing. And then your vocab words for lesson 4 are airfoil, rectrices, remages, and lift. Some wonderful photographs of birds taking off to fly. And some photographs of birds landing. Like I said, the photos in this unit are just spectacular. And here's that same extension for 7th and 8th graders. How birds breathe. That's covered. Lesson 5 is bird life cycles. Your prep here would be cut out the images from the life cycle of a chicken page and punch a small hole through the gray middle circle of both sections. For each child, print one copy of the hatching page. And your activity supplies, one round head paper fastener, glue stick, scissors, and a thermometer. You will give your child a life cycle reel of a bird, and then you'll watch a video about nurturing nests. You'll have an incubation activity. You read to the child a bit. Vocab word is incubation, so that will go on your science wall. Embryo development, so cool to learn about. And show the children the embryo development chart included in this lesson. Ask them questions such as what happens to the yolk on day 2? Which parts of the bird develop first? On which day can you start to really tell this is a baby bird? What are the changes between day 20 and day 21? Hatching activity and science journal prompts. Growing chicks. Aw, take a look at that picture if you can see it. The sun is setting. Listen to those cicadas, isn't that nice? Oh, that's so relaxing. And last page here for lesson 5 talks about adult birds. There's a photo of a rock pigeon and a bald eagle. I don't know if my covering the lessons can really explain to you the depth that this unit goes into in birds. My children just learned so much from this unit. I really enjoyed it. So I hope it's coming across the breadth that this unit study does offer. Life cycle of a chicken. Embryo development goes from day 1 to day 21. You have an adorable baby chick. And etc. for that lesson. I will show you one more lesson, I believe. Lesson 6 is poultry, and then I'll say, I hope you get the gist. There are 14 lessons. If you do happen to have any questions about this particular unit, please obviously feel free to ask me in the comment sections. I'd be very happy to answer any of your questions, sincerely. So lesson 6, the last lesson I'll cover, is poultry. A lot of children seem to have a fascination with chickens, so super neat that they included poultry. Fun fact, did you know that chickens are the most populous bird on planet Earth? I found that to be a bit surprising, but super interesting. So your preparation for lesson 6, cut out the clue cards, assemble the mini book, Backyard Birds Poultry. For each older child, print one copy of the poultry comparison chart. And activity supplies, you need a few more than usual in this case. Tape, cooking oil, paintbrush, construction paper, scissors, sponge, or water dropper. Most common bird reveal activity. Show the children the prepared most common bird reveal with the clue cards completely covering the large photo of the birds. Read to the children, do you know what the most common bird in the world is? We are going to read these clue cards, and while doing so, reveal this well-known bird. Hint, hint, I already gave the answer. It's a chicken. But it's fun for kids to discover that. And then you have your mini book that you cut out and you assemble on your own and then show to the child or children. And it is poultry comparison chart for old mini book accompaniment, poultry comparison chart for older children, and mini book backyard birds poultry. You will have a mini book of that. Waterproofing feathers activities. So cool, hands-on experiments, right? I'll tell you how this experiment goes. Read to the children, ducks have a special way of waterproofing their feathers using an oily substance from their preen gland. We are going to do an activity that demonstrates how this works. This is what you do. Draw 2 feathers on a piece of construction paper. The children may cut out the feathers if they wish. Using a small paintbrush or the tip of your finger, coat one side of one of the feathers generously with oil and allow it to soak into the paper for a few minutes. Don't put any oil on the other feather. 3. Using a dropper or sponge, drip a few drops of water onto the plain uncoated feather. Tilt the feather to move the water drops around and observe what happens. 4. Drip water onto the oiled feathers. Tilt it around and observe what happens. 5. Discuss your observations. And that same extension for 7th and 8th graders. You will be learning more about egg development. It's a fantastic unit study, and if you're thinking about using it for your upcoming school year, I'd say, yeah, give it a go. See how you like it. We enjoyed it just fine. I invite you to subscribe, give my video a like if you haven't, comment if you need to ask me a question, and I hope you have a blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.